Like what we do? Consider supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the description below. And as always, please, enjoy the story.
It's been a few days since my last visit to the doctor. They've got me recording every little thing I do to find out the cause of my transformation. Mom's been on me like a hawk. Usually, I'm able to just shrug off her controlling behavior and not be bothered by it. But recently, I feel so emotional about, well, everything. I've been secretly crying in my room a lot the last few days. It's usually triggered after seeing my body in the mirror. Today, however, I'm determined to do something about the way I look. I dug out some of my workout gear and I plan to hit the gym hard. If I could build some muscle, maybe I'd start to feel better about how curvy and feminine my body has become. Knock, knock, Phoebe says, appearing in my room with a big smile on her face. Flinching at her sudden appearance, I get all embarrassed and try to hide what I'm wearing. Phoebe giggles, staring at me with a dumb-looking face. What are you doing? Nothing, I bashfully reply, folding my arms and turning away. Are they your old gym shorts? Phoebe asks, clearly mocking me. Yeah, I reply sharply, looking down at the baggy shorts hanging loose from my wide hips. Problem? Phoebe holds back a snicker and shakes her head. She's making me feel so uncomfortable in my own skin with those faces she keeps pulling. What is it? I growl, stamping my foot in frustration. Why are you looking at me like that? Phoebe gently smiles and tilts her head to one side. She slowly steps towards me and pulls at my very baggy white t-shirt. Going to the gym? She questions, looking me up and down. Yeah, I reply, stepping back from her. Are you wearing a sports bra? She queries, making it obvious she's looking at my chest. Disgusted by her suggestion, I shake my head and frown. I don't like having to wear a bra at all. Why does she think I'd wear a bloody sports bra? No, I'm not, I abruptly reply. Sighing, Phoebe rolls her eyes. Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Warn me about what? I huff, putting my hands on my hips as Phoebe turns to leave the room. Looking over her shoulder as she heads to the door, Phoebe smirks. You want to borrow some of my leggings? I feel my face go red. I'd already tried some of those earlier and it wasn't a success. A certain package was a little obvious in tight leggings, and I'm not yet comfortable enough to deal with all the questions about my appearance. No, thank you, I politely answer. Okay then. Phoebe giggles with a playful smirk as she leaves the room. Have fun! Frowning at that entire interaction, I gather up my soft, long hair and hold it in my hand. Wait, Phoebes! I call out, rushing toward my open bedroom door. Can I borrow a hair tie? A few hours later. I hadn't been to the gym in months. The last time I came was before I broke my leg. The anxiety of walking through the front door was almost enough to make me physically sick. Hey, I stutter, greeting the gruff-looking man at the welcome counter. I'm starting to get somewhat used to the looks I get from other men, but he, however, is particularly off-putting. He looks at me like I'm some sort of monstrosity. Hello, miss, he answers, quickly darting his eyes to look at my unsupported chest. I grip my teeth and recoil at being called miss. Suppressing the urge to cry, I fold my arms in an effort to cover myself up. My old clothes are like bin bags on me, so I'd hate to think what's running through this guy's mind as he gawks at me like that. I'd been dreading this interaction for hours, ever since I decided it was time to come here. My membership card is me from before all this happened. Here, I say softly, flashing my membership ID quickly. The man just smiles as I nervously stuff the ID badge back into my rucksack. That's not your ID, he laughs, leaning back in his chair as it creaks. Your brother's? He asks, giving me a mischievous look. Feeling shivers run up my spine, I give him a nervous grin. I really don't want to have to explain myself to this guy. I don't think he'd understand. Silence falls over us both for a good few moments. I just keep grinning at him as sweat forms on my forehead. My brain was desperate to think of an excuse, but I couldn't think of anything in my state of panic. "Go on," he replies flippantly. "I'll let you off this one time, but only because you're cute." Now, stiff from fear, I scurry past the welcome desk. As I do, I could feel him staring at me as I hastily shuffle down the hallway toward the changing room. Made me feel gross. Reminded exactly why I'd been hiding in my room recently. As I turn the corner, I push up against a wall out of sight and take a deep breath. My heart was thumping like mad. I need to get a hold of myself and remember why I'm here. That's when I look up and see two beefed-up dudes strutting confidently out of the changing rooms. Just seeing their large, muscly frames makes me feel feeble and small. Crap! I groan, now covering my face with my hands. This problem didn't even occur to me on the way over. What changing room do I use? I'm a guy, but I look like a girl. What do I do in this situation? I can't go into the men's locker room. I'll get stared at like I'm some sort of weirdo. Going into the ladies is not right either. I'm not a peeping Tom. Worrying, I rub my face hard and let out a long breath. Is it easier just to go home? Much to my annoyance, the women's locker room seems the path of least resistance. I guess that's where I fit in right now, and I've not come all this way just to quit at the first hurdle. If I rush in and head straight for a locker, I can stuff my bag and get out the gym floor without seeing anything I shouldn't. Forming fists with my hands, I knew exactly what I needed to do. An hour later, cardio was my next port of call before I finished for the day. Although a little upsetting how little I can now lift, I'd focus mainly on weights. Walking up to the treadmill, I could feel my muscles aching and tightening. I'd probably overdone it for this first session, but it feels good to have worked off some steam. Stepping onto the treadmill, I start a very slow walk. Stepping it up further and further, I get into a small jog. My God, it is hard work. Not only are my muscles tight, but my body is bouncing and moving incredibly awkwardly. Even at this slow jog, I feel my chest throwing itself around like it's possessed. Still very determined to press on, I keep going and move up to a brisk run. I feel my hair whipping around behind my head, but that's the least of my worries. I have to hold my chest tight in fear that one might bounce up and knock me out. "Hi, hello!" A strange girl squeals in panic, rushing over to me from the side. She looks at me with a frantic expression, like I'm doing something dangerous. Still running, I'm trying to hold my body still. This meddling girl slows the treadmill down to a stop. "Hey!" I complain, glaring at her as she stands in front of my machine. "What'd you do that for?" The girl looks around the gym floor, then stares at me in the eyes. "You're making a scene," she whispers, gesturing secretly at my chest. "I am?" I gasp, now looking at the male faces gawking at me. "Yeah." The oddly familiar girl replies, "Why on earth would you go on a treadmill without a bra on?" I look down at her and shrug. "Didn't think I needed one," I answer truthfully. She raises her eyebrow, then shakes her head. "Are you joking? Are you unaware that you're a woman?" I didn't need to take this from her. Who the hell is she to tell me what I can or can't do? I step off the treadmill and hold my chest. It is hurting a little. I wasn't expecting that. "Do you need to borrow one?" the girl asks, rushing to my side. "I think it's in your best interest if you want to use those," she continues, pointing back at the treadmill. I dismissively shake my head. Why does everyone keep trying to get me to wear one? Taking hold of my hand, she doesn't take no for an answer. Knowing everyone is still staring at me, I didn't want to make any more of a scene. I just let her guide me. Seconds later, we're standing in the women's locker room. I'm trying my best to focus solely on the locker behind this girl who's dragged me in here. I daren't look anywhere else in case I see stuff. "My name's Ivy," she says, abruptly stopping and playing with her ponytail. "You know, I'm pretty sure I cut your hair the other day. Aiden, right?" Feeling the blood rush to my cheeks, I didn't know what to say. I mumble, stalling as Ivy reaches into her locker. Yeah, Aiden. I finally answer as she holds a small black garment out towards me. You don't seem so sure, she giggles with a curious expression. Well, okay then, Aiden. Here, you can borrow this. She shoves the garment into my hands. What is it? I ask, holding it to my face. A sports bra dummy, Ivy laughs. Should fit you, I think. Thanks. As Ivy stares at me, waiting for me to put the darn bra on, my watch buzzes. Saved by the Bell or what? It's time to take my medication. Oh, gotta take my meds, I explain, walking toward my locker. Phew, maybe I can make my excuses now and leave without having to put this girl's bra on. Opening my locker in a rush, I drop my meds onto the floor. As the pink packet hits the ground, Ivy rushes to be nice and pick them up for me. Here, she says, holding the packet in her hand. I watch as the color drains from her face. As she holds the packet out towards me, she glances at me, then awkwardly looks back down. Confused, I scrunch my face. What's the matter? I ask, bewildered by her behavior. They're only pain meds. What's the big deal? She's looking at me like I'm doing something illegal. Oh, makes sense now, she says, giving me a painfully obvious forced smile. You're on HRT meds. You know, I've been secretly researching HRT for my brother. I think he might be like you. What makes sense? I reply. Like me how? Ivy mutters, uncomfortably shifting on the spot. Sorry, I'm saying too much. Can you forgive me for treating you like an idiot earlier? Shocked, I stare her directly in the eyes. She quickly looks away. And what do you mean, HRT? I angrily ask, her having touched a nerve. I'm not transitioning. These are pain meds. Stunned, Ivy opens the packet and looks inside. She holds up the blister packet to the light and studies it. I turn away at that moment, through sheer embarrassment. She replies frantically, stuffing the blister packet back into the pale pink box as I look back at her. Here, you can have these back. Also, keep the bra. I guess a present from me to you, welcoming you to womanhood. As she shoves the packet back into my hands, Ivy forces an almost awkward smile and hurries out of the locker room, almost like she couldn't wait to get away from me. I stand silent. In one hand, I hold her sports bra, and in the other, I hold my meds. What did she mean by her brother is like me? Has he suddenly swapped genders too? I hope she realizes that I didn't ask for any of this. Come to think of it, my leg is now healed. Why on earth is Mom making me still take these? I look at the pink packet, and it all becomes clear. These meds are what's causing my transformation. Mom, I growl, slamming my locker door closed. We're having words.